Hello, welcome to Tuesday Business News Report. It's now time to bring a feature on the show today. We're looking at the energy sector as the irregularities in the supply of petrol took another turn at the start of this week as black marketers of the commodities surfaced on roads in the Federal Capital Territory. All marketers state that the concerns around the matter in the downstream arm of the sector is yet to be addressed, despite clamor by operators maintaining that petrol price would go up if it was left unattended to. Now, but the government, through its Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, insists that it would not allow a hike in the cost of petrol regardless of the concerns raised by marketers. Many petrol stations were shut as at the start of this week along the popular Kubwa-Zuba Expressway in Abuja and other adjoining axes, while black marketers were seen in front of some outlets selling petrol in jerry cans. Joining me now to discuss this and much more, I have Adeola Yusuf, Team Lead Platforms Africa. Barely a few days ago, we had this same conversation around the looming petrol scarcity. Yeah. Do you think this is clearly becoming the reality? Because now we're going back to the days of having black marketers carry the product around in jerry cans.
It's unfortunate, but that has been the reality we're having. Before talking about that, the situation to Nigerians generally now is like when we talk about kerosene. Nigeria is, majorly divided into the southern and northern protectorate. A lot of people from the southern part of the country listening to us will just be looking at what are you talking about? But it's the people from the north that will feel it. Just like talking about kerosene, some people are not, a lot of people are not even talking about kerosene any longer. So that is the reality of people from that part of Nigeria. And like we said the last time, if care is not taken, those that are still looking at it as what are they saying will still feel it very, very soon if care is not taken. I understand that a lot of activities are going on between the government, particularly the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, and the presidency, in ensuring that this thing doesn't spread down south and doesn't spread across the country. But that has been the reality we are having now. It's very, very unfortunate, but you will not blame the black marketers. As at the last count by the Nigerian National Bureau of Statistics, 21 million Nigerians are unemployed. And out of these 21 million Nigerians, 14 million of them are youths.
So this is just an opportunity to explore.
It's an opportunity. You will not blame those guys.
But an irregularity to say
yes.
Same as well.
Yes,
let's look at some of the calls now. Depot owners are saying that the rising cost of petrol and the rate at which we're selling and other challenges are still an issue. They made mention of the cost and looking at the fact that the nnpc Limited is yet to revert to naira denominated invoices for excess capacity for coastal movement using the CBN's import and export window rate as agreed by stakeholders recently. And now on the other side, the nnpc Limited authorities also saying, well, they've moved from dollar to naira. So we are still having issues of conflicting stance here. Yes, there are talks, there are engagement going on, but they're not necessarily on the same page.
Yes. The truth of the matter is that there is a difference between, announcement or declaration of a policy and the real execution of that policy. Everyone understands how difficult it is to get dollars this time around. It's not the fault, of that market, but it's just the general reality we have at the market. To get dollar is somewhat difficult. And if these guys will need dollars, I'm talking of the marketers now, if they will need dollars, there should be a way that should be, properly made available to them.
The average Lagosian or those within the southern part of the country don't necessarily understand that there is a looming scarcity. The narrative is totally different from what's playing up north. But now, looking at conversations around around this call by depot owners saying that we're yet to have this revert into Naira costs in terms of the denominated invoices they are getting. And then the nnpc also says, well, we've already done that. They're yet to get to the same page. And barely a few days ago, we also had the threat from Nupeng as well, saying it's going to take an industrial action to force to ensure that welfare matters are attended to. They are not necessarily also open to the conversation around staggered payment of all of these. They want a lump sum here and now. If all of these go down south, or we don't have these parties on the same page with government or with the nnpc limited, we know what can likely happen.
Yes, yes. And what will happen is that the scarcity or the crisis is going to be nationwide. And it's going to be a thorough embarrassment to the government. Before talking about that, I need to, like I said at the other program we had a few days ago, that the labor union, understands the game very, very well. They have been talking to the government. They have been, placing agitation on the table for the government. All this while, government is not paying attention. But they know that this is the best time, to
strike hard.
To strike hard. And the more reason a lot of them are coming up with deadline, with threats and all that, because government, they know that this is the only time the government will give them attention. And the simple reason is that this is the time we usually have demand, and we have long history of crisis during this time. It's the time of Yuletide, and it's time that a lot of Nigerians want to travel, and a serious and responsible government will never ever allow itself to be messed up this time around. So having said that, I think it is very, very important that the government, takes proper action about what we are having in the north, and ensuring that doesn't, nosedive or nosedive into, becoming a national crisis. I know that irresponsible leadership of trade union will never issue threats just for the sake of issuing threats, because there is always another time. If they issue that threat, just like they have given the government ultimatum, even you could see that even the crisis, the Chevron crisis, have been hanging all this while. They have started talking about that again, because they know that this is the time that they will get the proper attention from the government. So I was talking about, they will not issue that threat just for the fun of it, because if they issue that threat and nothing happens and they do not go on strike, they are not going to be taken seriously again. So for the benefit of all Nigerians, we cannot afford national crisis when it comes to fuel supply this time around. We cannot afford it, and I think the government should take proper action. Driving into a filling station and driving out should be the best. There have been talks about the regulation of the sector, not the regulation, implementation, PIA, and all that. Let us understand where exactly we are going.
Thank you very much for your time on the breakfast show this morning, Adiola Yusuf. The government still insists we have enough stock for the Yuletide and even beyond, so we'd like to see that play out.
I agree with them, but let us see the supply.